Welcome back, y'all. We did it. We went and saw it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And, I was thinking about this on the way home. I'm not as skilled as Dan Murrell or other reviewers that can do like a perfect no spoiler review. And I don't get enough views to do like a non-spoiler and spoiler review. I didn't do it with Guardians. I didn't do it with a lot of things. I didn't do it with Spider-Verse. I don't think I'm gonna do one here, just because even the plot points, and before I get into spoilers, even the plot points of what they're doing in this movie, what they're fighting for, all that stuff, it's not in the trailer. And so nowadays, anything that's not in a trailer is considered a spoiler. So I think I'm just gonna put up a spoiler warning to begin with, because I don't think I can talk about this movie. I probably could. I could probably dance around it and, this actor's great. The camera work is great. The stunts are great. I think it could compliment this movie a lot, but I'd like to talk about a lot of the spoilery stuff and, what they're up against and who they're fighting and stuff like that. So, you know what? I am going to put up a spoiler warning, guys. I'm sure you clicked on this video knowing full well that it's spoilers. So spoilers front and center. I'll give you guys another, 5-second countdown here. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get into it. Oop, not the wrong one. There we go. Sorry, went to the wrong camera. Man, what a movie. I really enjoyed this one. Mission Impossible, once again, just keeps setting the bar so high for itself, let alone other action movies. Tom Cruise as being Tom Cruise, but it's really, I don't know if they're getting, the word underrated, I feel like it's thrown around. I remember I saw a TikTok where the guy was like, the movie Birdman is so underrated. I'm like, it literally won Best Picture, my dude. What are you talking about? And so I feel like the word is underrated gets used too much, but maybe underappreciated, where it's they're being overshadowed by the stunts and the camera work and Tom Cruise himself, who casts a very large shadow. But it really is the supporting cast in this movie specifically, more than the others, that really carries this. And that's where I want to start, is Hayley Atwell. And Hayley Atwell, I remember I was kind of making some noise. I was like, oh, okay. When the credits rolled, because I was like, it was Tom Cruise, Hayley Atwell. I was like, oh, surprising. I thought it'd be Rebecca Ferguson or Ving Rhames or Simon Pegg or, any of the other people that I didn't know were in this movie. I didn't realize Palm Clementieff was in this movie as a badass assassin who doesn't have a lot of lines, but is kick-ass, pretty kick-ass. Clementieff. I always say Clementieff for some reason. Clementieff. But starting with Hayley Atwell, who's a thief named Grace. And we all know Hayley Atwell mostly from the MCU, Captain Carter. And outside of that, I never saw, did she have that show, the tattoo show? Was that her? What is else? Avengers Assemble, the Howard's End. I never saw that. Conviction, never saw that. She's been working steadily. I never saw her, her Peggy Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Peggy Carter show. Was that her, the show that she had? Was I thinking of something else? I think I was thinking of something else. Maybe I was. I can't remember who I was thinking of. Wait, Conviction. Was that it? Maybe that was it. I don't think it was, though. I don't know what I'm thinking of, honestly. But anyways, I haven't seen much of her outside of the MCU, honestly. I just haven't. And, she's been working steadily here and there, but she hasn't had a real starring role in a movie for a while. And man, does she just take the reins in the same way that Rebecca Ferguson did, that Paula Patton did, that Maggie Q did. The supporting cast really does get a chance to shine more than any other franchise that I can think of. Yeah, the Fast and Furious guys get their moments. The Rock really took it over, and then now he's back, and then he's gone, now he's back. But they do so in such a different way in the Mission Impossible franchise that it's very hard to describe. I will say that Christopher McQuarrie was like, oh wow, Hayley Atwell is one of the most gorgeous beings on the planet. Let's make this entire movie her face. And that's what it is. Her acting is astounding. I love her character. Everything is, but there are so many close-ups, and I will refer to the first movie. Just like I said, I remember when I reviewed the first Mission Impossible, and I was like, Dead Reckoning seems to have a lot of callbacks with Kittredge, with the train scene, and even more so, there are so many Dutch angles, there are so many close-ups. This feels very Brian De Palma-esque. And it felt like they started that with Haley Atwell and Vanessa Kirby and Rebecca Ferguson. And they were like, okay, we have all these gorgeous, gorgeous people in that. We're just going to do all the close-ups. We're going to do all the close-ups of everybody in this movie. And they're all amazing actors. So every single minutia of emotion and thought you are going to see on their beautiful faces. And it's just going to be the best thing ever. And that's what this movie like starts with, and then just keeps kicking it up notch after notch after notch after notch, and it just doesn't ever stop, ever. And I absolutely adore it. I really did like this movie. Now I will say it's recency bias aside, I don't know where this ranks yet. I might see it one more time in theaters. It was a very stressful, hardcore, heart-pounding watch, and I really enjoyed it. But going back to Haley Atwell, she has a scene, and again, spoilers, guys. Spoilers. I will say, I know this is coming out Wednesday, so this is going to be a little soon for spoilers, but I'm giving you guys plenty of warning, and I don't want anyone to be confused about it. Sorry, my computer's doing all these sounds right now, so I truly do apologize. But her whole story and her being, it's almost it's like the good way of doing like Temple of Doom. Like Temple of Doom, I understand why Willie is screaming and stressed out and just not having it through the entire Indiana Jones adventure. She's not built for this. She didn't sign up for this. But you know what? It doesn't make it like less kind of grating on the ears. Haley Atwell does this right. And maybe this is not a just comparison. I don't really care that much, but this is the first thing that came to mind. She went to go steal this key that, and yeah, you guys know the plot if you are watching this by now, hopefully. She went to go steal this key because she got hired to do a job, and she's a professional thief. She doesn't ask questions. You know, thieves probably don't ask questions. Professional thieves probably just like, oh, I got something to steal, let me go steal it. And then she gets thrust into this global, world-changing AI nuclear possible war with international terrorists and arms dealers and the IMF and the CIA and MI6. She didn't sign up for this. So the fact that she is always playing catch up, always trying to run away, not wanting to deal with it in any way, kind of hindering the mission, maybe causing some deaths later on in the movie, it makes sense. It does make sense. Now, it doesn't make it any less frustrating when certain characters die, and boy, will I get to that. But it makes sense, and she plays it so well. The scene on the train where she dresses up as Vanessa Kirby, the White Widow, and she's dealing with Kittredge, like, I guess I should be complimenting Vanessa Kirby because her acting in that scene is so good, and like where it's from one scene to the next where we just see her in the nightclub being so sure of herself, owning the scene, like definitely ready to kill anybody, like I said in Fallout, where she will flirt with you and love on you, but not hesitate for a freaking second to stab you in the face if you don't give her what she wants. And she brings that same energy. And then the very next scene, she's playing, like Haley Atwell playing Vanessa Kirby, is playing this like very timid and unsure, and oh my god, it's so well done. It's just so good. And Haley Atwell, the scene before, I'm talking about the train scene, even though it wasn't Haley Atwell, it was Vanessa Kirby. I forget, like, they're not actually wearing real masks. But the scene before, after Rebecca Ferguson is killed, and she's like, wait, you're signing me up for what? Like, this is my only choice. Like, coming to grips with, like, oh, I'm stuck in the middle of this, and they give her the three choices: death, prison, or IMF. Not really great choices. And just like, oh. Uh-oh, my cat is looking to pounce at me right now. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm doing this and not petting you enough. Giving her these three choices and seeing like just everything, you can see the mental wheels just like cranking in her head as she's going through this, and it's such good acting by her. And again, close-ups of her face. Like, there's no room for like, oh, she took this second off. Like, no, it is full frontal, like closer than we are right now. Just like full face headshots here. And it's so well done. And she doesn't blink and she doesn't shy away from it. And she owns it. And it's so good. Now, going back to Rebecca Ferguson, man, like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay with it. I honestly, I don't even want to say I understand it because I really don't. I understand the motive behind it. I understand that we got to have some stakes here. A main character that we really care about is got to die. And, you know, I thought it would be Benji. When they were at the airport, I thought someone was going to come up behind him and stab him in the back while he was trying to defuse that bomb. But he didn't. It was Rebecca Ferguson, and she went out like a boss. It doesn't mean, like, I'm okay with it. And I'm not okay with it in the fact that, like, I don't know. I understand, like, Tom Cruise is, like, Ethan Hunt cares about his team. Grace is not a part of his team. Like, he wants people to live. He's fighting for the greater good, and they bring that up a lot in this movie. But, man, like, I understand the death, like, in a vacuum, but then, like, the very, you know, when he's, like, on the train, and, like, and he, like, touches Haley Atwell's face, like, I've got you got to trust me. And I was like, no, she's not Elsa. You stop that. And I realized that's, like, my immature brain saying that for, like, these fictional characters in a movie. But it did feel like a little brushed aside and fast to where, like, I don't know. I know the movie's got to go. We got a lot to cover in part 1, and I've got a lot to cover. I'm already 12 minutes in here. But just like, it felt a little rushed to me, her death scene. She didn't get any last words, and maybe, you know, that's just like the cold, hard truth of this world that we live in. Not everybody gets last words. But you know what? We're in a movie. I want some last words between these two people that over the last 2 movies have, especially Rebecca Ferguson, I put Rogue Nation on her back, and then was equal blow for blow in Fallout. And so saying goodbye to such a dynamic character and with such a just like this groundbreaking star-making role from Rebecca Ferguson, it's tough in like every aspect, from a business aspect, from a Hollywood aspect, and then from a character story aspect. It was really tough to deal with. And so maybe that's why I felt that the death was a little rushed. Maybe I'm wrong. If you disagree with me, please be nice in the comments. But it being rushed in itself and then moving on like immediately to Haley Atwell, and I don't think it was like a romantic thing at all. I really don't. Like, you know, I said that I was right about their romantic connection in Rogue Nation. I don't think they have one in here at all. I think it's just like a kind of student teacher, like more of like Kerry Russell, Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible 3, where like they give you that like that tension, but it really is just like a mentor-mentee relationship. But I was just like, oh man, I just miss her. It's just me being selfish probably. But going back into the plot, I like it. It's so, and this is where I say like that it's very reminiscent of the first one, where like it's an AI based plot where like an AI is like, the AI is rogue. It's, you know, hacking into everything. It's messing up comms, and that's how Rebecca Ferguson dies, which is a great piece, great moment right there. But I do love in the nightclub. It's so corny, but in the best way. I say corny in such a good way, where like they're at the nightclub and then you see that like the AI is in the building. It's on the projectors. It's here with us. It's listening to this conversation. And then you hear it like kind of growl in the background. I'm like, oh my God, they're going so hard with this, and I'm about it. I am here for it. And that's when you know a movie is good. That's when you know a movie does something so ridiculous and over the top, where AI is growling at us at a nightclub when it's on like a big screen, and you're like, yeah, that's a dangerous AI right there. It's so insane, but I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. And it's so good. And the bike jump, and in the same way that I said like the Rogue Nation plane stunt got a little bit overplayed and it didn't hit me, the bike jump hit. And the same way that I said maybe I'm in the minority about like seeing all the behind the scenes stuff, I definitely am, because the theater had an audible reaction to that bike stunt, and it is so good and it's so worth, even if you've seen a million behind the scenes, you know, ramps of it and all the makings of it, it does not hit the same way in the movie. And that's why we go to the movies. I sound like Tom Cruise right now, but I don't care. So great. Ving Rhames gets a lot to do in this movie as well. I feel like Simon Pegg's getting a little like sidelined, but Ving Rhames, like for the last like I guess for 4 movies, like since Mission Impossible 3, when he's putting the Philip Seymour Hoffman mask, he's like, let me tell you about why you shouldn't get married. And just, he's got like, he's not really in Ghost Protocol, but like in Rogue Nation and then like in Fallout, in Rogue Nation, like he's got the speech to Rebecca Ferguson about his wife and about Ethan. And then in Fallout, or maybe that's in Fallout, I can't remember. No, it's not in Fallout. In Fallout, what is he? I know I had it on the tip of my tongue, then I went back to Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation, he's got the moment with Julia about Ethan, and like he has these little moments, and he really takes like full use of them, and I really like the way they use Ving Rhames in this movie. He does kind of say, "Oh, I gotta go write this code," and we'll see where he is in part 2. But I do love me some Simon Pegg, and I'm glad that they're kind of teamed up at the end. I love Kittredge. What's the name of this actor? Because he's so good. He's so 90s perfect. Henry Czerny, or maybe just Czerny, so great. I love him. He's so in the same way I love Alec Baldwin in the first 2, or in not first 2, Rogue Nation and Fallout. I would have loved to see Henry Czerny in this as Kittredge, because like he's so 90s cheese. Like, it's over, Hunt. The good work you're doing is done. You're gonna die. He's just got the ham sandwich, spread mayo on it, and taking a big old bite, and we love to see it. Pom Klementieff, I wish she would have gotten a little more words in this movie, but she does kick all the ass, has a great chase scene, like a big old tank car. Shea Wiggum is always great as like the FBI agent who's on the trail of everybody. That's just like his role in life, and I mean, that him and who was I thinking of the other day? There's another character actor that just has like that's the life you want. Just constantly working. You're not in the spotlight. You just come in, you get your paycheck. Occasionally you get like a star role, like in Boardwalk Empire. I think he was in all 5 seasons of Boardwalk Empire. I never finished the final season. I need to watch that. But just like, he just does his work and then he's gone. And then, he just pops up in the next thing. And you're like, hey, I know that guy. I don't know what his name is, but I know what his name is. His name is Shea Wiggum. And he's a great actor, everybody. And he is the dad. He is Gwen's dad in Spider-Verse. So 2 for 2 on Shea Wiggum. Great job this year, buddy. Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise stuff. Honestly, this might be one of the weaker Ethan performances from me. Am I saying that? I think I'm saying that, especially when Rebecca Ferguson dies. I don't know. The moment that she dies, like, he plays that very well. But again, I feel like it's more the movie's fault than Tom's fault, that we just have to keep going. There's a lot to cover, and how long is this movie? Like 2.5 hours? 2:43. It's a borderline 3-hour movie, so I understand why they can't take time, because there's a lot to fit in, and this is just part 1. But it's just, I wanted more from Tom, and maybe they were focused more on the stunts and the fights, and there's great fights, and there's great car chases. Him and Haley Atwell are great together. And again, I didn't realize she was going to be the number 2 actor in this movie, and she just owns it. Everybody's just so good. So it's like, these feel like nitpicks that I'm giving the movie, but just like, I'm finding criticism where I can, because I really had a great time with it. I really had a lot of fun with this movie. The parachute moment on the train, I was laughing out loud because it was such a perfect tension breaker. Because I wore this shirt to the movie, and it's made of like that, that polyester that doesn't let you sweat much. So my pits were just like soaked, because I was running through the 6 with this movie, man. It was intense, but in truly the best way possible. I had a great time with this movie. Strongly recommend. Everyone is gorgeous. Everyone just hits their marks, and really just, they chew the scenery, but they never like go over the top. They're never like, oh, this is my moment to shine, gotta make it worth it. Like, they never take you out of what they're doing. They just own it. And that's a credit to McQuarrie. It's a credit to Tom Cruise and like all the producers and everyone on set. It just works so well. Esai Morales as Gabriel was possibly the weak link in this film. Like, he's got a great look to him, but he just never scared me. I don't know. He just never scared me. Like, now, Solomon Lane didn't like scare me too much. In the second one, he did, because it seemed like more unhinged. Philip Seymour Hoffman is obviously the bar that will probably never be reached in this movie. And then, like, Ghost Protocol, the villain, is basically non-existent. But I know his big thing is like Ozark, and I haven't watched it, so maybe I need to watch Ozark to really get into the mind and like just like maybe carry that over of like I've seen that scene in Ozark where like, you know, he kills everybody and it's like you have 1 week to get this operation up and running, and he's really scary in that scene. I didn't get that in this movie. I like how insane he was, like bowing down to the AI, saying that it was always going to be right and everything, but I don't know, he didn't work. Not that he didn't work, but he didn't sell me on being terrifying like I wanted him to be in this movie. Because like he beats everybody in a fight. He beats Ethan in a fight. He beats Rebecca Ferguson in a fight. He beats Palm Clementieff in a fight. He beats everybody in a fight. And so like I wanted him to be more intimidating, and I just wasn't. I wasn't scared. But I do love, before I go, I do love that scene, and this is what truly reminded me of the first movie, is that scene with all the NSA, all the directors, all the intelligence directors talking about the AI and like what's really going on. Just 90s Dutch angles, close-ups, everybody finishing each other's sentences, all dramatic, all intense, all love it. So good. It's just so good. This movie works on so many levels. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be sweating. You're going to be perspirating. You're going to be on the edge of your seat. You're going to be laughing. There's perfect tension breaks. There's great stunts. Those are just a few of my criticisms of the movie, and that's okay. It's okay to have criticisms of a movie you absolutely love, and I did love this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys saw this movie before you watched this video. I don't know why you would watch this video, because I spoiled everything about it. I'm really curious of where they're going to go in part 2, because I know like they got the key, and now they're going to go try and kill the AI, and I'm sure it's going to be another 3-hour movie. And you know what? I'm okay with it, because the pacing was great. Sometimes a little too fast, as I've said. Maybe a few pauses in there, but at 3 hours, I totally get why they didn't. But real good movie, real fun chases, real fun action set pieces, really great characters too. And that's what it brings us back to this movie, is the characters. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know, again, what is your ranking after seeing Dead Reckoning Part 1? Give me your updated ranking in the comments below, guys. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.